Get caught in a net with Annette. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with Annette. It's your intellectual radio show. Here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with Annette.
Are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, where your host, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need Annette? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Welcome to another session of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. And I am your host, Annette Harris. Let us go to the Lord in prayer. Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day. We thank you for the bright sunshine. We thank you for all that you have blessed us to see, say, and do. We ask that you would get the glory out of whatever we do on today. And the opening scripture, I normally like to quote the first part of Hosea 4 and 6. It simply states, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And again, we're grateful to be here on today. It is Wednesday, October 19, 2016. And we're excited because we are in another month. We are actually, 3 weeks into another month. This month actually is an observation. It's an awareness month for breast cancer. And I decided on today's show that I would highlight some individuals who were special in my life because, we've heard about the breast cancer during this month. We've seen videos, we've seen clips, we've even heard of different radio shows talking about it on today. But my subtopic on today, I want to talk about when cancer hits home. And I figured there were a couple of individuals that I wanted to talk with on today who are very special to me. They're special, first and foremost, because they are my blood family. They are my aunts, my mother's sisters, and they have experienced this particular disease. They are breast cancer survivors, and I am welcoming these two wonderful young ladies, I call them, on this afternoon. my first aunt, Dr. Jane Crossley. Mm-hmm. How are you on today?
I am doing just great, wonderful, feeling strong as ever.
Good.
I just finished 2.5 hours exercise this morning. 2.5?
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
She's going to make me shame on today. I know she is. And I also have another aunt, Robbie L. Weathington. How are you on today?
I'm great. I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Good. Now, I know on Mind, Body, and Soul, I've had Dr. Crossley on my show before, and we've talked about health, we've talked about exercising, and she's kind of a regular here. She's been here on a couple of times before. And this will be my Robbie's first time on today.
Okay.
Joining me on today.
I was coming just to observe.
Oh, no. You can't just observe. You have to come in and help us out with this topic on today. It's kind of important, to discuss this because it is something, unfortunately, that kind of gets swept under the rug. Yes, we have this awareness month, but it's something that we need to observe year round. And I'm glad this month is set aside because it does bring individuals into the awareness of what is, could be possibly going on around us or even within us sometimes. And let me just read a few facts that we have here. According to the National Breast Cancer.org, 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. That's one fact. Another fact is breast cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer in women. Another one, breast cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death among women. And it also says that it's estimated that over 246,000 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer. And it says here that more than 40,000 will die from it. Now, a lot of times when we think of breast cancer, and you've seen the facts about women, sometimes we only think that it only affects women. But that's a myth,
That's right.
because although breast cancer in men is rare, it is there's an estimated number of 2,600 men will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and they said approximately 440 will die each year. So it does not have a gender. It's not, just limited to women. It can affect the men as well. I'm reminded of, I believe, the actor Richard Roundtree. I believe he was diagnosed at, I'm not sure what year that was. He actually found a lump. They said when he was in the shower, he found a lump. And he was diagnosed with breast cancer as well. So it's not, again, not just limited to the women. A few more facts. It says on average, every 2 minutes, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer, and one woman will die of breast cancer every 13 minutes. That's deep. That alone right there. But this last fact that I have here is what I really, really want to read. Of course, we like to hear about the good things from this disease and from this thing that has been plaguing us. Over 2.8 million breast cancer survivors are alive in the United States today.
Right.
Now that's encouraging.
Yes.
And it lets us know that there are some things that we could do, some things that could help us, whether or not you have been diagnosed or if you have a family history of it. So these are some of the things we want to talk about on today. This cancer has hit close to home. What I want to start off with is to ask you two individuals on today about your journey. What happened? How did you find out? What was, did you find it yourself? Did you have an inclination? What was the setup?
Well, I would like to start off and say my mom, I would think about my mom.
Mm-hmm.
My mother was a lady that believed that you should take good care of yourself, and she always encouraged us to take our pap smear and make sure that we go every year for our mammogram and to do these things. And there was something that I had inside of me, and I really felt that I should do this. So every year I was very healthy, and I went every single year and made sure that I would do what I should do. And when I went the last time to get the examination, they thought they found something, and I just thought, oh, that's not benign, it's just okay because I'm fine, I'm checking it out. And they found it was malignant and that I had breast cancer. But I was so glad that one thing that I decided to do, I went early. And this is one thing, you look at the history of black women, we don't have cancer as at the rate of white women, but we tend to die. More of us die than the white because, but now it's increasing recently according to research. But I went because I was told to go, and when I found out about this, I went to my doctor, and she was disturbed over this. Oh my goodness, she just going crazy over this. But I had the satisfaction of realizing that I did what I should do. And if God was willing to take me at this point, I wouldn't have to go back and say I wished I had. And that was one thing that my journey was successful for me, because you have to do what is right. And when you're going to do what is right, then you can, I guess, go along with what's going to happen to you. So she was crying more than me. That was my journey to that. Now we can talk about it later if you want to go with Robbie, but that's what I did, and I'm so glad. And I would love to encourage everyone of us that and I think one of the reasons we are dying possibly more than the whites, because we are not taking good care of ourselves.
That's a very good point, and that's unfortunate. That can be for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't have the insurance.
Exactly.
There's ignorance, which is unknowing, not having the knowledge of certain, whether it's diseases or situations or whatever, and just not being conscious and aware. Which I'm glad again for this month of October,
yes.
because it does bring awareness.
Sure,
it's called Breast Cancer Awareness. I have a friend of mine, Lady Rochelle. She has her own radio show, and it's called Warriors Talk.
Okay.
And I believe it was 2014. I think you're watching, Lady Rochelle. Please correct me if I'm wrong. she was diagnosed with breast cancer, young woman.
Yes.
And she now her show it helps to bring about awareness
Yes.
of this disease.
Yes.
And I'm glad that she does that because she has very, a lot of information. She has guests that are very informative, those who have had it, before, and they're survivors now. But I think it's important, especially in our community.
Yes.
A lot of times we don't, as blacks, African Americans, we don't even pay attention
Yes.
to what's going on in our own bodies.
Exactly.
Which, even just take breast cancer for instance. They tell us that we should do our own self-exams.
Exactly. Sure.
And before you even get to
That's
a
right.
doctor
That's
for your annual, mammograms and pap smears and everything, so you can do your own self. And I always remember some of the things the lady Rochelle says on her show. She said, "Know your body.
Exactly.
You have to know your body.
You have to know.
Yes.
And I found mine. I mean, doctor did. I found the lump.
Okay.
I found it because I was doing my self-examination. And then I went to him because I found it, and then I thought it wasn't anything. That's when they verified it. But I noticed the difference.
Wow. And so you knew it was something going on. You knew it was something different.
Yes, and I think, when I was being a teacher in health education, when I was in high school, I was a teacher, and I had those the models and things, and they will tell you when they're hard, and the lump is hard, and I would go through this process with my students. So when I went into mine, I know it was hard.
Okay.
And I was a little concerned about that because and it's good to go to these different workshops and just see, what it felt like, and then I was pretty much aware of that, and I went there. But I can say it's been 28 years,
Wow. Yes.
and I'm great and fine. And I hope a little later on that we talk about how to prevent these things from happening to us and do what we can do.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, I want to get into that. So let me ask, you know what, sometimes I say Lady Robbie or I'll just call you Aunt Son today. I'll ask my Aunt Robbie about her journey and her excursion with this particular disease.
Okay, well, I'm glad to be here. I kind of thought I was just coming as a spectator, but I've found this, it's only been about 3 months.
Yes.
So my sister James, it's been 28 years. It's been 3 months. What happened, as she said, we have the same mother, so I decided to do what she said. So I would take every year from the time I turned whatever age
Yes,
they said
yes.
start. I've never missed a year. And this time, about 3 years ago, they thought it was something, so they started watching it like every 6 months. Then after about a year and a half of that, then they said, okay, you can just go back to your regular checkups. We don't think it's anything. So I waited a year. So when I went back after that year, they saw something that looked like a shadow. And they just started running tests. It just, what had happened, it was just trying to form. A mass was trying to get there, but it hadn't found a place yet. You would have to know a little. It's good to know your body, like she said,
Yes.
and know what goes on in your body, how things are. What I had noticed
Yes.
with my annual checkup, my vitamin D kept going down. And I would tell her, I said, my vitamin D is down. So he would give me pills for about a month or two. Then he'd check it again, it'll be back up. Then he said, okay, you okay. Then I go back, and it's down again.
Oh.
Then he said, well, just start taking the over-the-counter. And we know that like a vitamin D sometimes, cause different types of cancer. So that was kind of going on in my head. Why every time, this would happen? So they did the test, and they found out that it was trying to start. It was trying to get there, and they rated it. And thank God for being aware and catching it. It was rated as grade 0 cancer. So they were able to get all of that out, and I didn't have to go through any. I had surgery to get that out, but everything went well. But they all said if you're going to have cancer, that's the best one to have 0 grade.
Wow.
So,
And the same mine too. It's when that doctor found it out, he said, if I want to have cancer, I want to like yours.
right.
And it was like in a plastic bag. They had not even spread it to the residue, not anywhere. They hadn't spread anywhere, so I didn't have to go through chemo and all that stuff like that. They gave me some pills and things like that, but never those treatments. And I've been free since then. But I can tell you one thing: when I found out that I had the cancer, I was afraid to even eat the skin off a chicken for a while. They made me start looking at my diet carefully, and I started saying, "No, I'm not going to eat this, and I'm not going to eat that." And even like red meat and all kinds of things that I was doing, not so much of, but I really started looking at myself and said, God has given me a chance on life, and I want to really appreciate that. You know, we say our body is a temple of the Holy Ghost, and we really need to take care of this body. And I think, as she was saying here, if it is a temple of the Holy Ghost, then we need to take care of our body more than our cars. Anytime our cars could have flashed it and said you need to take it to the shop, we run to the shop. But when our body's flashing, and things as Robbie just stated are going on, and you're taking some things and your tests not coming out, we just ignore and say, okay, God just healed me, and He is healing you. He's telling you go and take care of it.
Yes.
That is so true. That is so
Right,
true.
It really is. I just, this morning, it was something in the newspaper, and I didn't know I was going to be here, and I was just reading this, and it's so much like what you just said.
Mm.
So maybe, if we get a chance, maybe, Sister Ann, that you can read just this little part about how we, as Christians, need to take care of our body.
Oh yes, definitely. I do want to get into that as well. That is so important. Let me hop over here to Facebook real quick. Let's see. Lady Rochelle says, "Oh yes, know your norms. So when something is not normal, you can take action."
Exactly.
Yes.
I think that's crucial. You know, I'm looking here. Darian Williams. You know, Deacon Williams and
Yes,
Sister Williams'
yes,
son.
yes.
He made a comment here. He says he too had a scare
Oh,
when he thought he felt something as well. His mom encouraged him to get it checked out, and it turned out to be nothing. But yes, men need to get checked as well.
beautiful.
I'm glad he put that on
Wonderful.
here. Lady Rochelle also says vitamin D is linked to cancer,
Yes.
and she also says as African Americans, due to our skin, we lack vitamin D, so we should be having our vitamin D levels checked,
Yes.
and the doctor can give you supplements if needed.
Yes.
That's good advice there.
That was very good. That's what happened to me. So twice he had to give me those supplements.
Oh, well, okay.
Yes, so, because every time it would be, I'd go for my annual checkup and it would be down. So he would give me those supplements, and then I would go back, it'd be okay. Then he says, okay, you're fine. Then I go back again, it's
Wow.
down again. I'm going like, what is going on here? So yes, so now I can see what was going on.
What's going on there?
That's good. That's good. You know, I want to ask you, ladies, because we are going to get into, let's see, preventive maintenance. We're going to
Yes.
want to talk about what you can do afterwards. If you have been diagnosed with this, and how you even
Yes.
talked about how you look
Yes.
differently at what you eat
Oh,
and
yes.
how you
Mm-hmm.
take care of your body. But I want to ask you, when I say cancer hits home, let me ask you about your families.
Mhm.
How did this affect your immediate families? Now, I know that Dr. Crossley, when you were diagnosed with cancer, it scared me
Oh,
when I found out.
Did it really?
It scared me, and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, is she going to be okay? I'm just being honest. That's how, how I felt. And, I felt that you were so delicate at that moment. I didn't know if I could hug you or anything. And, I didn't know what was what. But that's, I still had to come into the knowledge of a lot of things too. But how did it affect your family? You have two wonderful
Two boys,
sons.
yes, 2 sons.
And they're married with their families.
Right.
And you have a wonderful husband as
Right.
well. And how did it affect them and your family life?
My husband went to the Bible and started reading all the scripture he could possibly read. But I look back at Cornelius was only 6 years old, and as my older sister was praying for me to go to the doctor, Cornelius decided that he's going to take over the prayer, and he started saying, Lord, you saved my mom. Do not let my mom die. Cornelius actually prayed, and I really believe that his prayer went to heaven. And we took my prayer last night in our Bible study, and we said prayer could change God's mind. I really believe that boy's prayer went there. Then I had a praying mother. Just saying that. And I didn't want to tell anybody. She told me to tell anybody. I didn't want to tell my sister. I was afraid too. I would be honest with you, I was very afraid. I didn't know what to do. I went to church, and every time I go to church, somebody would talk about somebody died from cancer, and then I had to get them to leave. I had to leave the church when they get up. My husband, when they started talking, he would say, "Come on." because he knew I couldn't deal with that. I mean, it takes time to get over this. And I was going through that, and then my mom told me, the Lord said you need to praise the Lord. And I didn't understand why she said that, but she said, I could see God delivering you through prayer, to praising. Then my sister Sylvia made me lead songs that I didn't want to lead in the choir. And my family really supported me, but I was afraid because they said you're going to fall. I fell a few times. I thought, oh my God, because coming back. And I remember going to the beauty shop and my back started hurting. I couldn't get my hair shampoo, and I thought, oh, it's in my back. Everything that you have faith, but you just have to. It gets very stressful, and that's why you need support and people supporting you, talking to you. Now, one thing I did, and your mom went with me when I first found out that I had cancer, and I went to shopping, and I had on the brightest yellow you wanted to see, a top. And your mom kept encouraging me, and she was okay, well, you're gonna be fine and everything. But what I did, it has to be in your mind. You gotta say to yourself, I'm gonna be well. And you have not only to say this, you got to put action behind it. I mean, put on your best clothes, look the best, and that's what I did. It's in the mind. I mean, it was in my mind. And then when the doctor told me that if I was going to have cancer, you got 95% or 99% to never come back again, you're a healthy woman. Oh my goodness, but it takes the like it's a community, and you all were loving me, and I got up and told the saints. I didn't tell folks they couldn't get a prayer through. Only those that could have prayer through. That I talked to them about my condition, and God has been so good to me. I just really can't. I'm not sick. I very seldom get. I'm just fine. I just feel wonderful. This is something that I had to go through, and it made me get closer to God.
Wonderful. I have to interject and say here, both of these women can run circle around me. They are Energizer Bunny. You see the Energizer Bunny on the TV. They have there's nothing on them because they're constantly on the go. I have never seen an individual just keep going. Just in spite of what they're dealing with, what they're going through. I don't remember you missing church.
Never. Oh, no.
I don't remember after you were diagnosed.
No.
I don't remember at all. And I'm Robbie. I have to share this on the air. I just found out today about her experience with breast cancer. I just found out this morning. So she hasn't missed anything, and she's still going. And I know that's a part of our DNA.
Right.
That's a part of our makeup. It is.
Yeah, I don't think we can stop.
Yes, but that's encouraging.
That's
though.
right.
That's encouraging, and how you just keep pushing, you keep pressing, beyond what, and knowing, of course, your faith in God and holding true to that. And reaching, because sometimes it'll make you reach. It'll make you reach, like you said. Your son went to praying. Your husband went to reading the word.
The word of God.
Yes, it will make you do that. If you are looking at that, because I've always, whenever they say cancer, the big C, it's just like you automatically think. In times past, you automatically thought, oh, they're gonna die. Mm-hmm. That's what you automatically thought, but. We're debunking that myth today because I had two survivors here.
It's not a death sentence.
That's right.
And I think you have to look at it that way. Like when I found out, it was like, at first it didn't register. I was just going through the motion, whatever they said, because when I came in, and I thank God that I'm healthy. So that's the first thing they says, you're a healthy person.
Yes.
And that is good. They checked everything, my heart and everything, So I'm healthy. So they said, well, you're healthy. And then when they went in, my doctor said, when I grow up, I want to be like you. So that made me feel good. The nurses and the doctors were so encouraged. So it seemed like, at first it didn't register until it was all over what was going on or what happened. And I said, oh, that's what happened. I mean, it was something up in there. It just hadn't found a place to grow. It was just kind of looking for a place.
Around.
Yeah, the cells and things were just kind of running around. They hadn't really gotten rooted in anything. And I thank God for that, that they caught it before that I was able to go and find out. But at first it just didn't register. And then I think after it was over with, and my husband said something about, do you know you're a blessed woman? I said, yeah, but it still wasn't registering. And then all of a sudden it go, Oh, okay.
Okay, so your husband was a big support to
Oh
you.
yes, because the Lord has blessed him. You know, he's been through two types of cancer.
Wow, wow. Yeah, you know, it's something to discuss, something to talk about, and I believe it's going to help somebody else.
I hope
yes.
so.
I really do.
I think this is why God allowed it.
Yeah.
So we can do something. You know, we try to, especially my husband, he likes to go around and, you know, we try to give some workshops sometime to men, because men, as we know, especially, I don't want to stereotype, but African American men, sometimes they're kind of scary.
And not wanting to go to the doctor.
They don't
Yeah,
want to
oh,
go. That's
yes.
why they don't go. It's not, you know, they act like they're big and strong and brave. And I'm glad Brother Darren said what he did.
Yes.
Maybe that would encourage the men, because sometimes they won't do it. They won't go.
Yes.
But so he goes around, and my husband tried to encourage a lot. And, you know, we're not talking about this kind, but he has 4 brothers. And 3 of them plus him have had prostate cancer. And they all doing well.
Wonderful. Now that's good to hear. You need to know your history too, your
That's
family
right.
history.
Yeah, know your
You
family
need to
history
know your
is
family
very
history for
and
sure.
we really didn't have that in my family, but I kept thinking about when I had overactive thyroid, I had radiation and all that stuff, so maybe that, I don't know what was the reason. But now, that's what I was telling my sister, and I'm glad Robbie went to see her about her, because I had gone through, you know, so, and that would also let me know that needs and nephews like you,
That's right.
and Gwen,
That's
and
right.
all you all have got to follow up. You got to take care of yourselves and do what you can do. I know God is able, but let me tell you one thing: God do not make you receive salvation. He is not going to make you go to no doctor. So that's one thing we need to say. He's not going to make you. He's an intelligent God. He's not going to make you do anything. So you got to. He told you to take care of yourself, and he told you he wished that you possibly in good health. And he told you that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost. And if your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, then I think you ought to take care of the temple.
That's beautiful. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go to my first break. I like that though, because we want to be educated on today and get the word out. Today's songs that you will hear on our break will come from none other than the late Pastor James R. Adams. He was a wonderful man of God. He was the pastor, founder of Abounding Life Church of God in Christ. And prior to his demise, we were able to put out a CD called Times of Refreshing. So you will be hearing selections from that CD on today. And take a listen and come back to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette right here on Intellectual Radio. Over here, what can be done? Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
It's very interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the title alone kind of grabs your attention.
So we're talking about, you know, most of us.
Oh, you can talk out loud. They can still hear you on Facebook Live.
Oh, they can hear us?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Okay, now?
Yeah, they can hear you talking now. You all are so funny. You all see my lovely aunties on today? Let's see who's all here. I'm going to do a roll call. This almost reminds me of like Romper Room, you know. I see Susie and tell them my age, I know. Beatrice, thanks for joining us, sweetie. Hey, Catherine. Lady Rochelle, I mentioned her earlier. Jocelyn Renee, Pam Horton's daughter.
Oh.
Demita Williams is watching. Darian Williams, of course. And let's see here. Demetrius Charleston from church. Moraine, Charleston. Demetrius, Moraine.
Oh, Maria. Okay.
DeMarc, your nephew DeMarc is watching.
Oh, DeMarcus?
Yes, he's actually one of my sponsors. His restaurant.
Oh, good.
And then let's see, Cheryl Lovelace. You remember her, Cheryl Lovelace?
Right, I think I was her teacher.
Yes, she mentioned on here. She said she's glad we mentioned about vitamin D because the doctor gave her a 7-week prescription.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Joseph Taylor's watching. Let's see, Michelle Thomas, one of my good friends. Denise from church, Denise Henderson. She's watching.
Oh.
She said, "Hey, Sister Jane." That's all you see, is Sister Jane. I'm just kidding. Kanan Davenport is watching. Hey, Kanan.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he's out in where, Arizona somewhere?
Wait, Kanan, where are you? So I get it mixed up with, because somebody's in Wisconsin. Who's in Wisconsin? Chris.
No,
Kanan's in Wisconsin? Appleton or something? Yeah.
and I think he said,
Oh, Beatrice, thanks for working and listening, sweetie. My friend Catherine Gardner, you all may or may not remember, she's always been there to support me.
really?
She's saying hi to you all.
hello.
So I think they may be at work, but they're kind of tuning in. This is kind of a good avenue, for people if they're at work, they can just flip on. And now we're on live on the website, Facebook Live, and also YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so they can, so you see that right there, that's what they see.
Oh, that's great. They can
Yes, ma'am. This technology is something else.
Isn't it something?
Yes. So we want to do, let's see, maybe I'll do, you want to go into this, hey, Robbie, or what do you have early detection? Oh, yeah. Okay, let's start with that first.
Right.
And then we can kind of move into this.
Just gotta put everything on God without doing what they need necessary to
Okay.
do.
So this would be the religious area, and then so you give us some factual things we should do.
Yeah, and then this one is kind of interesting too. I was looking at that. I was reading through 5 things should not say to
I like that. So we'll start with that first, and then we'll go into these two.
Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, right here on Intellectual Radio. And you have been listening to the late Pastor James R. Adams. The name of the project is called Times of Refreshing. That first song was written by his brother, Jason Adams. We come to magnify his name. I guess Pastor Adams also did some lyrics in there as well, so they kind of co-wrote it together. But we come to magnify his name. And as I stated earlier, I have my wonderful guests here on this afternoon, Dr. Jane Crossley and also Robbie Weathington. And we were talking about their journey because they're both breast cancer survivors. And we're excited, what the Lord has done for them. They talked about their journey in the beginning and how they found out and how it affected their immediate family. And we were also discussing about, church and, how, the church world was affected or how they looked at it. They kept going. Even though they found out their diagnosis, they kept going. They kept moving. And we attributed it to how they were taught by their mom and their dad and how you keep pushing and how you keep moving on. I'm so grateful that they did continue to push, that they are moving on, because it'll help me. It'll help their children. It'll help those that come after them. And we're excited, because we have a lot to discuss. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. And what I want to go to in this particular half hour, we want to talk about early detection. Mm-hmm. I believe you also have preventive maintenance that you can look at, because if anything, they can give us advice. They've been through this. And one thing that kind of stuck out to me as they were talking in the beginning, I already knew this, but one thing that stuck out to me is that they talked about how they were taking care of their bodies prior to. And I think that is so important. We cannot neglect our bodies. We have to, who's going to take care of your body but you?
That's right.
You're living in that body. God gave you this body, and I believe God has given us a responsibility also to take care of this body as well. So let's talk about that, Dr. Crossley. What do you have here? I believe you have something regarding prevention and early detection.
Yes, I do. And I think this is so important to us, and I would like to stress this with minority women and especially our black women. According to study, it is not a good thing I'm going to tell you, but we tend to be the largest gender on earth, black females. We are really overweight, and even larger than our males and Hispanics, according to research. And many times it's to state the fact that even when we put our clothes on, we make ourselves feel as though we're looking good, even though we're extremely overweight. We say, look at this looks good on me. And we convince ourselves that we're looking good. And we go on eating and doing what we're going to do. But I wanted to give you this study. It said because obesity and excess weight increase the risk of developing breast cancer. The American Cancer Society recommends that women maintain a healthy weight throughout their life. Losing even a small amount of weight has the benefit and is a good ground to start. So we've got to lose some weight, and you know what? Many of us say, I can't get up in the morning, I can't do this. Well, you can have 30 minutes talk nonsense to your friends. All you need is 30 minutes of time that you're on the phone wasting time to exercise. You don't have to go outside the door. You can do things inside, but you've got to tell yourself 30 minutes. And I told myself, God has been good to me since 1989. I go to the health club every single morning around 5 o'clock to 7:30 since 1989. Rain, snow, sleep, whatever. God's given me this body, and I think I should protect it. This morning, I just got through working out with 3 or 4 guys, lifting weights 45 pounds, weight this morning. All these things are so important that I stay healthy. And then it's that's physical activity.
Dr. Crossley, can you do me a favor? My my listeners are saying, can you talk more into the mic?
Okay, I'm so sorry. I want you to hear this now. You need to exercise at least 30 minutes a day. I would suggest that you do a weight training, a cardio every single day. I try to do at least 30 to 40 minutes of cardio a day. Lift weights, and I really kind of started going out with the guys because they can challenge you a little bit more and doing various kinds of things that you do. I've been going since 1989 from Monday through Friday. From at least from 5 to 7:30, about an hour to 2.5 hours a day. That I'm addicted to it at this point now. I'm not as stressed out. That's why I have the energy that I have, and I'm determined that I'm going to always beat my nieces running. They can't do this, you know. I have to do this, you know. I'm going to challenge Annette to tell you the winner, okay? And then also, ministers have confirmed that drinking alcohol increases the risk of breast cancer, moving about 70% to 10% for each drink per day. So if you caught in alcohol, you need to try to talk to the Lord and tell him to help you. And also these pops and things we're drinking.
Yes.
140 calories, we're doing 2 or 4 or 5 a day. I went out, I'm not going to say, but when we go out with our friends and things like that, let's try to encourage them to drink water. And let's try to do the water. And I know I was addicted to Pepsi. I'm not going to down you because I was. But I prayed to the Lord, and he healed me from being addicted to Pepsi. I used to love Pepsi. We got to stop that. So another thing too, we have to stop the smoking. And we know that can really be difficult for us and protecting our health. So I would like to challenge you. If you can just take 30 minutes and say, I'm worth 30 minutes every single day. I'm going to exercise, and I'm going to feel good, and if it's going to protect our health, and I just can't, we don't even understand to know what exercise is to be doing for us daily. Not only that, there's so many. If we could just get up, and when I go to church on Sunday and they're going like, oh, you look good, you like that, sometimes I'm kind of embarrassed because you're going like, you can give the teenager a run for their money and all this kind of thing. But I'm grateful to God that God's given me my mind. I'm praying that each and every one of you would get the mind, ask God to help you. Please help me to get on the routine of exercising and taking care of my body and eating correctly. I even have created recipes that eliminate all kinds of salt, and every time you put a teaspoon of sugar in your coffee, that's 45 calories. You do 10 times 45, that's 450. Every time you consume 3,500, you gain 1 pound a day.
Whew, that's deep. It's probably gonna make somebody feel ashamed today. But you know what? That's good. I stated earlier about how you both are just you keep going, and I know you can run circles around me. I know. In at our church, in our choir stand, we sing in the choir. We have steps, and they're in the new church, and they're kind of large steps. And so sometimes Dr. Crossley, she comes up from maybe singing praise team and come in the choir, and I'm already up there, and I get ready to go and try and help her out. I said, she don't need my help. She can jump up here if she wants. I'm just doing that out of respect.
Sometimes it seems like they're in your way. Like on Sunday, somebody was trying to help me. I'm going like,
And then, you know,
get here.
and we really need to count the calories. I went to Cracker Barrel the other day, and I saw this beautiful piece of carrot cake, and it looked so good. Now I looked on, it was 850 calories for a small amount. Then if you can only do 3,500 gain of weight, that's almost what portion of that? Math majors, what portion of that to 3,500 calories? So I wouldn't have enough nothing to eat anymore for the whole entire day. So let's count these calories. I mean, people look at me and laugh at me because I count them, but it's worth you putting another sugar in there. Is it worth you going by to get a shake that's 600 to 1,000 calories? Count them.
Yes, those are the things. And you were talking about the exercise. You don't have to go outside your house. There's so many things that you can do. And especially, you know, I like to kind of talk to the young women. You're getting married, you have families. When you're in the kitchen and different things, put your utensils and things up high so you can reach.
Right.
That's good. Lift things, you know. Don't use the remote so much. Get up and or either walk over there and then use the remote. But learn how, if you leave something upstairs, don't go, oh, I don't feel like it. Sometimes purposely leave it, so you got to go 2 or 3 times. Don't take the elevators.
That's right.
You know, I was in grad school once, and I was discussing something coming out of the classroom with some of my classmates, and I'm heading for the stairs, and they're heading for the elevator. I'm going like, because I was thinking everybody was like me, take the stairs. You know, I'm the only one heading for the stairs. I'm going like, I said, well, I'll see you all downstairs because I don't do elevators, you know, unless it's way up or maybe on the 20th, 30th floor. But if it's anything reasonable, I'm going to take the stairs, you know. So little things like that help you. And another thing with the exercises, as you get older, now this is for the older people, you need to do a lot of stretching and bending and squatting. All those help keep those legs strong so you don't have to have canes and walking on walkers and different things. All those things you start doing now, and when, you know, you get a little older, you'll be able to run right past a lot of folks.
And I think, like I said, it cut down on the breast cancer because I was not actively involved in exercise before, because it was 1989 when I got breast cancer. And so I didn't start my exercise until after that. So maybe if I had been more into my exercise, I could have prevented that. But when I found out that it would help me, I immediately started saying, you know, God help me to actually be able to exercise and help me to keep a schedule. It's hard. I know it is. I look at people that lose 100 pounds, I'm going like, I don't think I could do this. I've never been that overweight, but when you see a person losing like a 50 to 100 pounds, that's wonderful. And I know it's difficult for you out there, and I'm not just saying it's been easy for me, but talk to the Lord and say, God, give me the courage and the energy, and let me take care of my body. After this radio station today, just say, God, this is you talking to me now. I can do this. If Jane Crossley can do this, and she's at her age now, I'm a senior citizen now, and I can do this, then you can do that the same. And so we have said to you today, you know, stop eating all the fats and all the kinds of things that we're doing, and try to eat a healthy diet, and said that I want to live. And hopefully this show is going to help you today. And please don't feel like we're dogging you out, but we're letting you know if God has allowed us to do this, He can also allow you to do the same.
Yeah, I think that's good. We really have to be, conscious of ourselves and, care about how you look. You mentioned, Dr. Crossley, about how our African American women are, we're more overweight.
Yes.
And I'm saying, sometimes it may sound funny, but sometimes I'm either driving or looking around or walking down the street or something, and I'm not trying to be funny, but sometimes I'll see some of us walking and our stomachs are out to here, and sometimes I'll literally say, I hope she's pregnant, because if not, then that means she's,
exactly.
very, overweight. I mean, I know that may sound comical or whatever, but it just, I look around, and I have noticed that our African American women, we are more overweight, it seems.
Yes.
And I think that is something that we need to look at. Now, I'm not talking about anybody that's overweight. You know, some people, I believe their thyroids or something will probably
yes,
make them
yes.
gain weight,
Yes,
you
yes.
know. But if you're just neglecting your body, this is
Yes.
what we're talking about
Right.
on today.
Right.
So we want to make sure we take care of ourselves and, eat right. You don't have to, go vegan to eat right
Yes.
or whatever. Some people do, but, there are certain things that we can do to help us.
And the Lord can help us. And so that's what He can help us to do anything. And I had said myself once, how am I going to tell anybody to get off drugs and I can't quit drinking Pepsis? And and I questioned the Lord. I said, now how I can go out and say, don't you be an alcoholic, you can't drink, and you cannot do all these things. And I couldn't get off of Pepsi. So I looked at that and I said, you know what? You're addicted to Pepsi, just like they're addicted to drugs. So I had to pray to the Lord to please help me. Because when I would go by the drugstore, I had to have that Pepsi, that nice little feeling that would go in my throat. I stopped. And I would have my Pepsi, and I'll be fine. And the Lord said, you are addicted to that. So how can you go out and that convicted me. So I said, Lord, help me. And the Lord delivered me from Pepsi. Now, I can drink a Pepsi if I want to now, but I'm not addicted to it. And I said, I don't want anything controlling me. Anything controlling me is not good. I don't want anything controlling me. So if it's eating too much, I don't want that controlling me. If it's pops, I don't want controlling me. So what we want to say to ourselves, why should I let these things control me?
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want to add to that?
Oh, yeah, I was kind of listening and I was kind of thinking about what your opening scripture about knowledge. That's the key.
Yes.
That word knowledge. And I think God wants us to always continue to learn.
Yeah.
Things that she says she's doing now, she didn't always know that.
Right.
Things that I'm doing now, I didn't always know.
That's right.
But we need to keep our minds open and learn what we need to do. I've always been a tiny person, but even being tiny, I needed to be more, a little tinier. And that's, so, just little things. So,
Yeah.
I stopped drinking all soda. I don't drink any soda.
Yes.
And then somebody, oh, you getting smaller, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. But that sugar, I don't need that sugar because it leads to so much different things. You could be diabetic, you could have cancer, all that stuff is kind of into all those diseases. Some kind of way they're tied into each other. Sometimes the doctors don't know exactly, but high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, cancer, it's all kind of, if you have one, you might have the other one. It's just kind of in there.
It's all linked.
It's linked some kind of way. So we have to be careful with the American diet. It's horrible. So you have to be careful what you eat. Learn things. Learn to take the skin off your meat if you're
That's
going to
right.
eat meat. Learn how to get off of the fried stuff, all that stuff. Every once in a while you have an appetite for something,
Right.
you do it.
Mhm.
It's a certain hamburger my husband he does about once a year. He goes celebrate. I'm not gonna call the name of the company, but this hamburger,
Yeah.
So he does it, and I used to do that too. But now I don't even think about it anymore. I think it's been like I don't know how many years since I had this hamburger. I eat a hamburger every once in a while, that I buy. But different things
Yeah.
like that. You can do things, but understand what you're doing and why you're doing. Know what this is going to do.
But I'm trying to get a book together where for soul or book recipe where the food would taste like soul food. Because I know we like the food. We brought up with this, and that's why we continue to eat the way we are eating. So I'm trying to develop a soul food recipe where we can cut down on the fat, but it tastes good. For example, my niece Anjanette,
Mhm.
she loves my crowded peas. She
Yes,
loves
I
my
do.
salmon because I don't put anything in them. I don't put any meat in any of my vegetables. I take away the egg yolk and while making my bread, and all these things will eliminate the fat inside. So they know about my greens, that I don't put any meat inside the greens, and they are very wonderful. So I've got a crock pot now, and I got a pressure cooker, and I'm going to test this recipe. Hopefully I can get started this year because it's something we really need to do, because many times we just don't like that food. It doesn't taste right. And so what I'm trying to do is create a soul food recipe book that the food is going to be really good and taste really good. I think if if you could eat my food now, I think you would agree with me. I enjoy my food, but I take out certain things because I have a degree in nutrition and I know what should go into the food. So I'm trying to do that. And I think there's more things we can do to help. And another thing too, we need to look at our social life, our mental life. Many times these are the things of why we're eating. We're eating because we're unhappy with our life. We're unhappy with things that are going around us, and so we need to go and don't let the food be the thing that make you happy. You know, what are other things that many times I would say when I got married? When you marry somebody, you can't go around and say I'm bored because of my husband. You got to figure out things that you can do. You cannot put that on your husband because you're bored. I'm sorry, I'm just putting it out there right now. But what are some things that you can do? Maybe you need to go out with your girlfriend. You know, that's what you need to do. But what do we need to do to satisfy our life so we don't say I'm going to eat and do all these things and I can't take care of my bodies? Let's look at that. Take a good look at ourselves and say, what can I do? Maybe I'm not happy.
Right. Another thing, we're talking about prevention. We as religious people, sometimes we put everything on God and we don't do anything. And just so happened this morning, it was an article in the, I think that's Chicago Tribune, and it was talked about that. It was talking about religious people, how to believe and how to trust God for our health and what we need to do. So I'm going to ask Sister Annette to read just a little about, it says, what can be done. It was saying, it gave some, it says 61% of African Americans participated in the survey from the University of Chicago said everything about their health, they put it on God. I mean, they just think God's going to fix it.
Mm.
And we know what happens. So I'll let her
So they're
read
not
it.
taking responsibility.
They're not taking responsibility.
Yeah, I think this is crucial because unfortunately sometimes we think that we can just name it and claim it and not do our part. Now this article, the title of this says, when belief in miracles can be health hazard. So you want me to go down to this part talking about the...
Yeah, what can be done.
Okay. So let's see. It has here, over here, I'm sorry. What can be done? Some potential courses of action raised by this Michigan study, stressing the importance of working in cooperation with God
That's right.
to assist the process of divine healing.
Amen.
I like that. Number 2, it has here, having religious leaders also note that God's miraculous ability does not detract from the importance of engaging in positive health behaviors. And this is what we're talking about on today. Number 3, it has here, encouraging religious beliefs, such as seeing one's body as a gift from God, that may motivate people to be more active in maintaining their own health because it is seen as a sacred duty. But there is no one-size-fits-all solution.
Right.
It says also here, there are times when the benefits of, ceding control to God, giving control to God, outweigh the potential harm. In end-of-life cases, for example, religious individuals may benefit from counseling that allows them to die in peace and security, and so it kind of goes on and on, in a way that is consistent with their religious beliefs. But it talks about the importance, because I think, sometimes we just say, okay, I'm just going to leave it up to God. He's going to take this thing out. Well, you've gone to the doctor and he told you to take this medicine, or he told you to change your eating habits, but, I'm just going to believe God to do it. Well, we have a responsibility ourselves. And as I stated earlier, I believe God is going to hold us responsible. How we take care of our bodies, how we do our bodies. Our bodies are the temple of the Holy Ghost. So then what are we going to do with that? What are we going to do with that word? We're just going to push it to the side or not, take it in for ourselves. And too many times we just walk blindly. We don't really pay attention to what's around us or what can affect us. But take the time today. Take the time today and do what you know to do. She's given us good points. She's given us good pointers. Preventive maintenance.
That's right.
We even talked about making sure you go for your annual exams.
That's right.
Eat right, exercise. And I'm glad you said that about exercise, Dr. Crossley, because you mentioned about sometimes people say, oh, I don't have the time. She said,
Right.
well, you take 30 minutes out and just talk with your girlfriends or
Girlfriend.
something. So during that, you
That's
can
right.
take that time.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Or,
right.
or if you need to split the time up, just make sure you get that time
That's
in
right.
that day, per day.
And you just, sometimes just, I guess I'm trying to help the ones that say they don't have the time. It's so much you can do at home. You just clean your house. I remember when I first got married, it was Tuesday and Wednesday was my cleaning day if I was at home. I would clean one part of the house one day, on one day the next part, and I just, keep doing. But I would do, that was the vacuum cleaner and all those things were good exercise. So even just use those things. Do a couple of more pushes
Or go
across.
outside the yard work, or cut
Right,
the lawn,
yard work, all
clean
those
up the
things.
yard. I mean, I do
Right.
it all the time, and I think it's
Yes.
something that we got to do. And but you got to look back again too. And the Bible tells us, "Let not your heart be troubled." So we need to not be stressed out. This stress can really, it's another thing, can cause
yes.
cancer.
Oh, yes.
So we can't solve all the problems and do everything. So we have got to think. Today, even at the health club where I'm attending, we have Bible study, and the guys challenged me today. They said, "Can you go about this whole day without mumbling, grumbling?" So I told my Robert today, I said, I'm not going to say anything negative today. And I think sometimes we need to try to think about positive things. How can we go through the day thinking about positive things all day long, all day long? And you believe that stress can also bring on cancer.
Oh, yes.
And so, but the Bible tells again, like I said, let not. And when it said let not, it didn't say he was going to do it. There is a subject there. It's a you. And it's understandable that it's a you, all you English people out there. It's the let not. It means you. So he's giving you the power to let not your heart be troubled. So if you decide that you're going to go out there and do all these things and not get your heart together and all this is stressed out, he's giving you the power. He's giving you. And he's not going to take that.
No, he's not.
You got
That's
to
right.
do it.
That's right.
So you're going to have to, like I said to myself, and then you have to understand, the thing that you can't control, if God gives you the power to control it, you do it. You can't give it to him. That's why something the line says, step back and let God do it. And so, we'll step back and we can do all we can do, but I think we need to take a look at that and try to, and get out of rest. And I know I should do more of that. That's one thing I'm praying, Lord, ask Lord to give me more of, but just let me rest. But, I'm having a problem with that, so you all pray for me on that.
Energizer Bunny. Keep that in mind. Energizer Bunny. That's Dr. Crossley. Okay, we're going to go to our next break. And let's see. I'm not sure what song. You're just going to play them down the line? Number 3? Okay. So, again, we're listening to music from the late pastor James R. Adams and the Abounding Life Church of God in Christ Mass Choir. I believe that is Times of Refreshing, maybe? Yes, that's such a wonderful song. Take a listen and make sure you come back to the rest of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette right here on Intellectual Radio.
And one thing I was thinking when you said, I think you made the point of is that if you have somebody out there that has cancer, let them deal with the way they should.
Ooh, I like that.
And I think because people try to be nosy and things, and they're
Right.
upset because you don't want to share. When you have a serious illness, then you should deal with it the way you want.
Yeah, let's go with that. We'll talk about that.
sounds good.
Yeah,
And,
people get to me, and they tell me, they don't want to say anything.
Right, they want,
Right.
then they get nosy.
Right, yeah, they
I
do.
heard you was in the hospital, then they just want to be nosy.
And they can't help you, but they just want to know your business.
Then I want to talk about the 5 things you should not say to cancer patients.
Yes. Okay, that can work hand in hand with that. Okay, let's see here. DeMarc says, hi, I'm Jane, not Robbie.
Hi.
And let's see. Philip Riddle. He's on here. He says, blessings to the family. Good to see you all.
I wish you'd call us sometime.
You hear that, Elder Phil? Aunt Jane said she would call them sometime. Yeah, I'm putting you on blast. Okay, Janetta Franklin is watching. LaWanda Jones. This is Elder Rodney Jones, his wife.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Jones. Well, Sir Walter's
right.
family. Yeah. And let's see here. Valina Lucas is watching. Little Valina, the twins.
Oh.
Valina and Valina. Yeah.
Right,
She's
right.
watching. She said, word from the wise. She said, love it. She's enjoying you all. Angela Garrett, thanks for watching. Valina, they say they miss you. I miss you too, girl. Okay, and let's see. Another friend of mine, Dr. Lisa Thompson Dyson. She says she's watching. Oh, she says she's loving this show. Oh, thank you, sweetie. She said, love the Kingdom Ministry and work. It's on time, in time, and on time, she says. Okay. She was agreeing. She said, stress is a killer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. For sure. Okay, my other friend, hey, Sharnia. Lashley is watching. And Evangelist Crystal, she's on here.
Hey.
She said her favorite ladies. Thanks for watching, sweetie.
She's our
Crystal.
daughter. She's our daughter.
Oh, Melania said she missed you all too. Well, yeah, come by and visit. Oops, did I say that out loud? Sharnia, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, so forgive me if I'm not. But thanks for watching, sweetie. Oh, Pastor Ricky is watching. Ricky Riddle.
Oh, tell mom say hello.
Auntie said
So let's
hello,
get together
Pastor
sometime.
Rick. I think they're in a new building now. I think he said over in Lansing or something. Yes. Yeah, they're watching. They're tuning in. Some of them hop on and they look on and they hop back off. You know.
God was on me now.
Right.
I'm sick or not.
And a lot of things people say to you and not really. They kind of try to make you feel better. Some of them.
And they say, God got this. It's just a sleep. Like you say. But that's easy.
Something they say not really.
But that's it. And you say, God won't hit a situation. Doesn't kill the way what you want to say.
Then what? Right. Yes. Yeah, we need to go into that too because
we really need to go into that.
Yeah, you all are survivors, but then so many people have lost people.
Have lost
Then
folk. We have.
they put right. They put
God got
their,
this. And when you say that, I can't kind of explain either.
We got to tell them don't talk to, all the time about everything we've gone through crisis every time. I just talk from each and each and stuff like that. But you just say, I'm praying for you, that's all.
right.
And then God got this.
Certain way you got to do
And then
it.
they say, God got this.
Right. Yeah. That's true. That is so true.
And I told them, some folks I told them, you don't say this to people that lost folks.
Right. Yeah.
Certain things you don't say. So you don't have control over that.
Like you say, you know, God is not still be done, but how about this our daily bread? They say. You thought about that part of the prayer.
5, 4, 3, 2.
All right. Welcome back. Times of refreshing shall come from the presence of the Lord. That is such a soothing song. It ministers to your soul. We're back here with Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette right here on Intellectual Radio, and we're excited on today because we are discussing breast cancer awareness and when cancer hits home. And my special guest again on today, if you're just now joining us, I'm grateful that you're here. I have none other than Dr. Jane Crossley and Robbie Weathington, both of my relatives here on today talking about their journey and also something to help you out. And maybe you are being faced with this or you have family members, however this may be affecting you because, it used to be, it seemed like it was so rare for cancer to be even associated with your family, but it hits close to home. It really does. And it's something we should deal with. Now, before I get back into our discussion, I would like to give a shout out to my sponsor, A1 Grill.
Yeah.
Now, A1 Grill is a wonderful restaurant out in Glenwood, Illinois, and the owner there is none other than DeMark Adams. If you're interested in getting lunch, maybe catered, or you just want to run in and get some of this good food he has, you can go on over to 321 East Glenwood Lansing Road. That's 321 East Glenwood Lansing Road in Glenwood, Illinois. Their number, if you want to call your order in, it's 708-300-2433. Again, that's 708-300-2433. Ask for DeMark and tell him that Annette sent you. All right, let's get back into this. And we're here we see individuals on Facebook. I just want to thank you all so much for joining us and giving your input. Aunts, I tell you, they are really enjoying this conversation on today. I believe it's helping some individuals. Rachel Gaston, This is actually Pastor Tyrone Gaston's
Yes.
niece.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And so we think there's a relation there with the
Yeah,
Gastons.
somewhere.
Right.
About that.
She says here that she lost her dad, her grandmother, and uncle to cancer. So I believe her grandmother may have been the most recent. I'm not sure, but she has experienced that as well. So it does hit home. It hits close to home, and we just want to talk about this on today. How can we prevent, or how can we help, so that we won't succumb to this? And on our break, we talked about what we wanted to move into was how to deal with cancer, how to deal with, if you've been diagnosed with it or a family member, how do you deal with it? How do you even talk to individuals who may have been diagnosed? Because it's not an easy thing. We talked earlier about how it can affect you psychologically, mentally. Sometimes you may either not want to, accept it. I think, Robbie, you mentioned earlier about how you kind of, push it to the back of your mind.
Right, it just, I couldn't get there
Right.
at first, so it took a while.
Yes.
Then I just thought about it, and I said, thank God. I was praising God all the time because of, what was diagnosed, that it was just, hadn't really taken hold of anywhere, was trying to get there. But I was thanking God, and I was thanking God about, how I had taken care of myself, and I was saying, I'm so happy that I decided years ago to try to take care of myself, because it could have been something serious, but it just couldn't get there because they kept saying, you're healthy, and it just couldn't make it. So I was just kind of like stuck there. But then I thought about it, I said, wow, this is something serious.
Yes.
Yeah, my
Wow.
husband had helped me there. I go, oh, okay, I got it.
Well, that's a good thing. Good thing he brought that to your attention.
Yes.
And, we talked about preventive maintenance. We talked about exercising and eating right. So now, when an individual has been diagnosed, or how did you two look at this? I mean, I don't know how many people you shared it with. I know in the beginning you said you didn't share with that many people.
Right.
I just found out this morning about Aunt Robbie, so I didn't know. So I don't think she shared with too many people. And, and there could be a variety of reasons why you do that. It may, depend upon how people are going to react to you.
Yes.
Because that is all a part of your healing as well.
That's exactly.
And what they say to
Exactly.
you. You don't want, tell someone, oh, I was diagnosed with, such and such. Oh, well, my grandmother died from that, so you're going to have to deal with this. And that just tears you down.
Exactly.
And I think we have to be careful.
Yes.
So what do you have there?
I was just talking to you guys, and I was just saying that when someone has illness, and especially breast cancer, you should allow them to handle it the way they like to. And that goes for any illness. And if Robert decided she wanted to say anything about that, that's up to her. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I only wanted to share with my family's church, my church, and my family. I didn't want to go to my job because they would talk to me, and I'd probably been so upset. I've probably been sick. So you have to deal with that. The person, you don't want to talk to someone who do not have faith, and so you have to decide on that. And I was just saying, Dan, that a few minutes ago, something that you possibly, I was reading, that you possibly not say to someone that's ill, especially with cancer and breast cancer. I pray God's will be done. Now we know God's will be done, but maybe you might want to say, give us this day our daily bread. It could be a better way to say that. We all know that. And another thing that we tend to say now is call anybody now and say I'm sick. They say God got it. God got this. This thing is going all over now. God got this. And then when you die, then you're going to say, did God have it? And I think what you have to say, faith without works is dead. So, God has it, but what can you do to help yourself? So I think faith without works is dead. And I mean, they say God got it, and I'm thinking like, what does He want me to do? Just stand back and do nothing. And then it states the fact that, but if He does not heal you the way you want Him to heal you, are you upset over it? God is definitely going to heal in this situation. You might say that, but I think God is going to heal you. Even if you die, and you saved, He's going to heal you on this side, on the other side. And I do, but you don't know. And I recall one time, they say, oh, this guy got this, and you're gonna go to heaven anyway. But when they tell you that, and you might not think might not want to go now to heaven, they're gonna say, well, everybody's gonna die. So you're going to, you're sick. They say everybody's gonna die. Is appointed unto man wants to die, and we'll say it to somebody that's ill. You shouldn't say that, because I recall once a little boy was on the bus at church one night, and the preacher was preaching, I want to go to heaven. How many want to go to heaven? And the little boy, he kept his hand down like this, and everybody raising their hand, I want to go to heaven. And this little boy kept his hand down, and the preacher said, now, young man, you don't want to go to heaven? He said, yeah, but I thought you had a bus going out tonight.
Oh my.
And he wasn't ready to go tonight, so I'm not ready to go. So once you don't want to say that to anyone, and God got this. But what we can do, I think, you want to be that, support that person, and state the fact that bring a meal over and say, I'm concerned about you, and I just thought that maybe you don't want to talk to, and I can pick up your child from school. You want me to help you, help with the laundry, or just help. Go to the hospital and visit them, and but all these little things that God's going to heal you, and God's going to do that, and God, another one we say, God told me, revealed to me, that you're going to be healed. And I think it's Robbie that got this one. But someone said this one too. My loved ones, person said it, and they were not healed. So they were not healed. So, but I mean, they died. But I'm still saying God's going to heal you one way or the other. But we got to be careful and say, God told me He's going to heal you here. And then that person died, then what you going to say? And that was something this guy had to say, that we should be careful of.
Okay.
Be careful of. Okay.
Well, good. I think I have a call on the line. Let me do this. Hello, caller.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Good, good. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking with on today?
This is Gwen Gaston Gray.
Well, wonderful, Gwen. I'm so glad you called in on today. What do you have to share with us?
Wonderful. I actually don't have anything in particular to share except that the two young ladies that you have on your show today are very, very near and dear to me. And, and I love and appreciate you both. And sometimes we wonder why we have to go through things, but I can say this. If God allowed anything to happen such as this, which He has,
that's right.
I can't think of two stronger people that could just go through this unscathed. So, I'm very proud of both of you. I'm godly proud of both of you. And of course, both of you handled your journeys differently, but I agree with Dr. Crossley when she said, those who have been diagnosed, they need to be allowed to deal with that and share with whom they want to share.
Exactly.
I think, that's key, especially in terms of recovery. And just like you guys have talked about over the last 15 minutes, people should not say, oh, my so-and-so died of this, oh, my so-and-so died of that.
That's right.
But, I think at the same time, too, the onus is on us to separate ourselves, from negative people. And sometimes,
That's
guess
right.
what?
Oh, yes.
That means family, too.
That's
So-
right. That's why you're right about that.
The desire is to live,
That's
and
right.
the desire is to keep moving, because every illness is not unto death. But I do thank God for both of you, and thank you for sharing your stories.
Yes.
I'm yet praying for you. Know that I love you, and I'm here for both of you, as I know you have always been for me.
And I plan on living to be 100 years old.
At least.
That sounds good.
It's so good to hear from you, Gwen, because like I said before, we and when you've been diagnosed with breast cancer, I look at myself, I think I look gorgeous all the time. I
Yes,
try
you
to, and keep myself, but don't go to get in the dump that I can't look. Oh, yes, you can. And God's given you a new life. You want to put your best on. When I go out each day, I don't care what day it is, I'm going to take time for me, because God has given me, and I want to look my best for Him. And let people
Amen.
know that I've gone through this thing here, but it's not going to stop me. I'm thinking what I can do now, what I need to do now, what my next move going to be in life, and just life is just good.
Yeah.
It is just
And we
good. It's
have,
wonderful.
yes, I agree. We have to be viewed that way. First, we love God,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then we have to love ourselves.
That's right.
Just like you're speaking. And I thank God for, your sister, my mother, She didn't have breast cancer, but, we know she did not survive. But, I think every day about
Right.
the lessons and the wisdom that
Yes.
that she imparted. Man, it's just incredible because I can look in the mirror, and not literally, Bridget, but I can look in the mirror and say, mirror, mirror on the wall, I am my mother after all. And thank God, for her teaching, because you know what, it's sustaining me. It's sustaining me today. And just like you're talking about, loving to look good and feel good about
That's right.
yourself.
Oh, yes.
Because she taught us we have to love ourselves first, almost like Oracene
That's
Christ.
right.
You got to love yourself, if you think anybody else is supposed to take you seriously. So I thank God even for that teaching. And it goes a long way.
And we want to be an example to our nieces and nephews. And if you can see, to me, I think your best teacher to be an example. You can talk all you want, but actions speak louder than words. And so I try every day so that maybe something, and when we're going on, you can say, my Aunt Jane said this and she did this, to encourage you guys to be your best, look your best, because we only have one chance in this life. That's it.
That's right.
That's right. That's beautiful. Well, Gwen, thank you so much for calling in on today. We appreciate your input and your support of
Thank you,
this.
sister.
Okay,
I'm so
thank
proud
you.
of you too, Chick.
Oh, thank you. Love you, girl.
All right, love you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, great. We're grateful for that phone call on today. She just wanted to share in with today's topic on today and give her support. And I echo all of her sentiments. I mean, I appreciate the two of you and how you've gone forth and how you have showed us what to do. God forbid if that was to ever happen to us, then we know exactly what we should do. And it's good to have those examples before you.
Exactly.
It really is. It really is. Now, you mentioned about a few things to help support. First, you talked about the things that you should not say
Yes.
to individuals who may have been diagnosed. But then you mentioned also how to support. And I also remember Lady Rochelle on her show, some things that you can do to help out these
Yes.
individuals. I like that you said bring a meal,
Yeah, bring a meal.
so that they won't have to, they can focus on
Sure.
on being well and being healed, so they won't have to worry about cooking and everything.
And take them out. Like I said, when I was going through a mirror, and my mom and I was good friends as well as sisters, and I can always depend on her. If I call her, she's ready to go. She's ready to go. So we go to restaurants, and everybody know that I love to go out and love people, and she was there with me, and we just laughed and went on, and I just believed in my heart that I was going to make it. And like I said, if I didn't want anybody, someone said to me, well, I didn't know anything about it. Well, I did not want that person to know anything about it. Because that person, I didn't, if you got to be around people that you feel going to help you.
Exactly.
To understand. And so, but pick up a child from school. If you can have a babysit for the evening, take the dog out for a walk. You do that. You can help with the laundry, and if they want you, they have to fold the clothes and clean the bathroom. Do what what you can possibly just do, and walk them around and just do various things, but not being nosy.
Yes.
If they want to tell you, they'll tell you.
Exactly.
If they don't want to say anything to you, then I don't think we should be going into those kinds of things
So that whether or not they want to go into detail about anything, leave it up to them. Don't probe and ask all kind of questions. I remember Pastor Adams when he mentioned about going to pray for people in the hospital.
Yes.
He said you can go up there and minister to them, but you don't have to ask
That's
all
right,
kind of
right,
questions.
yes.
What are you in here for, or
Right.
what's
And
going
then
on
tell
with you?
Whatever your auntie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got so and so. My auntie had the same thing. She could have 5 years ago.
And they say you can get money sneaker like $20 because it's expensive when you're sick and you got to get medication and stuff, and go to the post office and you can say, I'm going to fill up your car with gas today, because let me do this for you. These are kinds of things that we can do. I can drive you to the appointment. I can go to this place with you, and just do all those things that help them out, and not be, oh, what is going on? What happened to you? And those things, because I had great support from my family and the friends I wanted to talk to.
Okay. Robbie,
Yes.
let me ask you. If you, and we're talking about how you all have survived, and we've known other survivors and stuff. What if you come across some individuals, maybe it's family or friends, who unfortunately may have been diagnosed with this, but they're having a hard time with this? How would you help? I know we just got to talk about how to support. What is there anything in particular that you yourself would say to them, or Would you even share your own experience? How would you handle that?
If I feel you have to, when you're talking to somebody, you have to get to know what that person is like. Some things you can say to some people you can't say to others. So you really need to know that person, who that person is, and then you pick up what that person needs, and that's how you do it. You try to give them, let them understand that there's knowledge out there that might be able to help them
Sure.
seek for whatever. Sometimes just having the right doctor. You could have some doctors, if you know something about it, show them how to look up the doctors to find out what this person is about, whatever. Things that have knowledge is power. So to me, that's the best thing you can do with folks. Of course, pray. I'm a religious person. You pray and ask the Lord for direction. But knowledge is power. You'd be surprised. Some things that everybody said, this can't be done or that can't happen. God might have one person in the next state that can do exactly what you need done. So you ask God for guidance. Where do I go? Who do I talk to? What do I need to do? Do I need to do this? Sometimes just 1 or 2 words somebody can say. Learn to be a good listener. Tell them to pick up on things. Just, and it'll come together. Somebody might say this, that's what that means. Certain things. So keep knowledge is so important. And trusting God, asking God, what do I need to do in this situation? Am I doing all I can do for what's happening to me? What do I need to do? And then listen to God and believe it. Positive, believe you're going to make it. I have a brother-in-law. I tell you, I hope they write a book. He's been paralyzed for over 20-something years. I've never seen anybody with such a positive attitude. I can't even count the many surgeries he had. But I don't care when you talk to him, he just, he'll go, he knows everything about his situation. The doctor comes in, I said, you might as well just go and get his license. He'll go, well, you didn't do this, should you do this, or shouldn't you have done this, and that? He knows everything. And then that makes as a teacher, I know that's true. The kid that started asking me questions, I'm going to pay a little more attention to that kid, because that kid want to know some more. So I can't come in and just say one little something. I want to go in detail. So the doctor picks that up. So, this guy knows what's going on in his body. So I'm going to double check and make sure stuff like that, knowledge and positive attitude and believing God. Believing God can guide and lead you. Let God, do it the way He's going to do it. You can't. And another thing, sometimes we have to be careful as a Christian. We cannot tell God what to do.
That's right.
And we, Lord, heal me. Lord, I want this to happen. I want that done. You ask God for knowledge and wisdom and His guidance of how to go about doing things. You can't tell Him. He probably look at you like, oh, you gonna tell me? I know, this is gonna happen. He say, oh yeah? But sometimes we try to tell Him everything.
And you may think your healing come from
right, you don't know what.
Somebody going to church and they touching you and praying for you, and you think that's His will. It may not be His will.
Right.
It might be His will for you to go and find out something that you can take. You see, that's one thing we tend to do. We always want to see, if you gonna do what you want, then you God.
If it's gonna be done the way you want it done.
You want to be. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling God, I'm gonna go. You're gonna heal me this way. And God said, maybe saying, I'm gonna heal you if you drink the carrot juice. I'm gonna heal you if you do this. So we got to be in His will. So whatever He wants us to do, that's what we have to do. And another thing too, when you get a sign, any kind of sign that you are getting better, praise God for that.
Yes.
And hang on, attach yourself to that. And see, many times we go, how you feel? Pretty good. No, I'm feeling good. And you know you're better today, but you just, you can't do that. Whining and carrying on. But thank God that I can see a little evidence today that you are bringing me down this thing. And I know that tomorrow is going to be better. And I'm going to get better, and I'm going to go back like be number one again. Well, these are kinds of things. We cannot tell God how to heal us or what to do. And I think many times we're doing this because we don't know what His will, let me say here, what His will might be for us. As I was saying, when I was in the hospital, very sick, and on another occasion I was very ill. And I just couldn't figure out why I had to be in the hospital. I said, I thought, the pastor prayed for me, and I should be out of the hospital. But when the lady started screaming, the nurse said, and when the pastor walked into the hospital and I was getting, she saw the evidence I was being healed, she started screaming, "He healed you." No, I said, "He didn't heal me, God did." But you know what? That lady got him to call to New York and pray for other folks, because she had never witnessed God being manifest. So God wanted me to be there for a reason.
Right. There is a reason. You know, I'm going to read this question before we go to our next break. This is from Facebook Live. Rachel Gaston, as you all were talking, she typed this. She says, how can you help a person feel safe to tell you what they're dealing with or if they've been diagnosed? She said her dad's wife kept it from the family that her dad was sick. Her uncle's family did the same as well. And her grandmother, well, she knew something was wrong, but didn't go to the doctor for about 2 years. By then, it was too late. She says it's like shame grips the mind and hearts of people. So what I want to do, keep this question, so when we come back, we'll discuss this, okay? How can you, what do you think, how can we help a person feel safe? Or is there a way to help a person feel safe to tell you, you know, their diagnosis or what they're dealing with physically? So we want to look at that when we come back. We're going to go to our last break, and I want you to come back for the rest of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. You know, I neglected to tell everyone, my two aunts here, they are educators. That is their profession. So they're not just talking off the top of their heads here today. Not only their experience, but they have book knowledge as well. So, and they've been educating your young ones down through the years.
Yes.
Make sure you come back for the last half hour of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette right here on Intellectual Radio. Is that the same thing? Oh, you just made a copy of it?
Yeah, this is the same thing, copy of it. I don't know, it's gonna have to, most of us go to church. It's gonna have to start coming to our preachers where they tell folks that they're
From
gonna
the top
have to.
down. But then they have to understand, you know, what's
And
going on.
don't
too.
just-
Sometimes they're ignorant and they don't know. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but they just don't know.
You still speaking on our cancer. You see, years ago when you had cancer, they would fire you off your jobs. You couldn't, you know, the status that you had, you know, and so many of the old people still believe this now. But when you look now at Channel 7 at the lady that does the transportation or road thing, they have people coming out all over now saying about I had breast
Is
cancer.
that Rosemary?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Been 10 years for her.
I
She's
thought I
at
saw
stage
somebody
4.
else that said they
She's
had
at
it.
stage 4. So now these people are coming out now,
And they're sharing.
and I think what we need to do now, we need to, like for myself, I testify as much as I can when I get a chance to, but I'm going to God. We need to do more testifying and get this out in the open, and so it's not real stigma anymore. It has been for years, and especially the black community. We just are, I'm ashamed because it was like something dirty. But everybody you talk to, we got ladies that had something to do with cancer.
Right.
I mean, it's everybody.
I mean, look at that number, 1 in 8 women. So you know somebody's been, whether it was in your immediate family or extended family, there's been something, or friends.
So I think we should, I think like Robbie said, I think we should get to the point that we, for example, like we're here today, we're talking about it. And when you get a chance, you know, talk about it and what God has done out there, and you know, what you went through, and to the point that this is something that you didn't do anything to cause this.
Right, and that's another thing.
I know, you know, some
Exactly.
disease or something. I heard a lady telling me, when our bishop died, she said, he got that some kind of disease, she called it demon disease. I mean, it has been bad
they've been saying.
in our church, she said. And when he died of cancer,
Somebody told me he must have gave it,
yeah, and it says right here. It says right here.
You know that, and that's another thing too. You know, it's interesting.
They got nothing to do with faith. I mean, faith
It's what it says right here, and I can feel like it what it says, and I don't know what it says right here. Oh, it said here. God had nothing to do with it.
Right. It doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't.
This one guy, Dr. C.F. from New Jersey, sent me a book, and the pastor died. I was telling you about what some folks were saying. He said, they never do anything.
See, if everyone dies eventually, it's not because of it, it's not going to take.
Right. I believe that.
Put it on faith.
You want to put it on faith, and then I
It's
think
almost like they can't play Russian roulette. I'm
Right.
gonna have a little more of you. So when my time comes, I'm gonna show you.
right.
And you may end up dying.
You know, another myth too. They think that because you're diagnosed with something, that must mean you did something you had no business doing.
It's still like that.
I'm
That's
saying the
coming on with
opposite.
that.
The reason why I'm still living. But, stuff that happened. But I had
And then because I've heard about other folks, you know, then you don't come on out and say it. And I think one thing we have to get to the point too, I think we can be nice to these person like I'm talking about, just said before, going on and discussing and taking back and forth, they eventually gonna tell you. Yeah, because I mean, I really felt bad because Pastor didn't tell us. I think, you know, it was good for me. But I think that stigma is still with him.
Yeah.
Because when I got cancer, Mama told me, don't tell folks at my job. Because she got you gonna find me.
Wow.
So that was, it's a real thing.
Wow.
In the Afro-American community. That this, but then I found out later, all of us behind me having cancer, you know, and they were telling everybody. But we were taught that. It's a thing in the black race.
Yep.
That God to lead the South. And that's why we're here today.
Right. That's right.
Because it's just a thing. And she told me, she didn't tell what the church is going to tell me at your job. But I admit to, you know, they found out, you know, people gonna find out anyway.
more folks are more open now. Used to be
Yeah,
themselves.
Right.
I think looking back, you should tell her, I know how she's feeling, but it was not open like it is now.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to the last 25 minutes or so of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. We're here on Intellectual Radio, and we have been discussing breast cancer awareness and when it hits close to home. I want to again acknowledge some of the individuals that are here on Facebook Live that have joined us after our last roll call we had here. Revelle Horton is watching. Your cousin Kenneth Smalley is watching.
Oh, hey, Kenny.
And let's see. Now, I think some individual, Cheryl, if you go to YouTube, you should be able to hear us good there or to the website, intellectualradio.com. Also, Calvin Bridges is watching.
Oh.
Okay.
Sean Brown, thanks for watching. And let's see, Randy Glass from Monument of Faith. He was the pastor, late Apostle Hinton's right hand
Oh,
guy.
okay.
He's watching also. And he says here, very helpful information. So this is good. And also, I'm sorry, Rochelle Hawk is listening. She's listening to us too as well. She says, good information and we need to know this. So thank you all so much for your comments, and I always like to acknowledge you because I don't want you to feel neglected. Now, before we went to our break, we did have a question from Rachel. And we kind of did discuss a little bit over the break, Rachel, but we're going to try and do it on the air so you can hear us. She says, how can you help a person feel safe to tell you if they have been diagnosed with the sickness, or maybe if they're ill? And she's had 3 incidents, her dad, her uncle, and her grandmother, where they didn't come out and let the family know. They didn't let everyone else know. So she's wondering, how can you get them to feel comfortable enough? She said, because it seems like it's a form of shame that grips the mind and the hearts of the people. So how would you address this? How would you address this question? Who
Well,
wants to start?
I feel that in the black community for many years, when we had cancer, it was just like some disease that we were going to die or shame of, some kind of sexual disease, and people felt that you had cancer, then you didn't pray good, you were not saved, and so much stigma with that. And so, but now I think what you have to do is talk to the family and say, in our family, so many have died with this disease, and it's something that we need to check ourselves over, and we need to discuss this in our family. We need to talk about this, and we need to know about this, and turn on the TV. Every time you turn it on, there are ladies all over there talking about cancer. When I got cancer, I was told that I should not talk about it on the job. But then a few months later, after I had it, 4 or 5 other ladies. And so we started talking about this. It's a thing that you want to talk about in the family. You want to say, we had this and had that, and you need to get checked out because you want to make sure that this is not going to happen to you. As I said again, it's open now. And as one lady said here, that we all got cancer, just has not been magnified or
Yes,
open in all of us.
doctor said-
We all have it somewhere.
Somewhere it's
You
in
know,
there.
and if we live long enough, all of us gonna have it, you know, or something's gonna happen to us with this. And we get it through food that we eat and a lot of things we do to our bodies, and we cannot be ashamed of it. I'm so glad Annette is just doing this today. This is one reason she's doing this, so we can get this out and talk to people, and you don't have to feel like it's some kind. This is one person said, if you get cancer, you not say something's happened to you. You know, no,
That's right.
absolutely. We all gonna die one day, and we're gonna die with something. You know, and the heart gonna stop beating with something. I don't know, but
Yes.
but what we have to say again, turn the TV on. You would not believe the ladies out there that have had cancer, and every single day they're going out now. They're been MCL programs. That's why I want to do more. Starting in the church, can do something. Robert going to address. What can we do in the church to talk about this? And I know in my church, I get up and just testify, and I just go to shouting and praising the Lord because and then I want to look good because I want you to say, yes, she has cancer, but look what God has done. You know, so talk to your family, talk about that, and your family, as Anna just discussed so much cancer, you really need to have a family meeting and talk about, we need to discuss this. This is in the family. This is the family tree in my family. We got, in the Adams family, we got to talk about it. It's in the family. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, it is in the family. Before I let you speak, Robbie, I had a guest on, and the title of her book was Breaking Family Ties.
Yes.
And Michelle Cook Hall wrote a wonderful book. In the beginning of her book, she stated, in her foreword, she mentioned about how now that she's older, and when she goes to the doctor now, she can't just check off, just
That's
go
right.
down the
That's
line and
right.
say,
That's
no,
right.
we don't have it. She said, I literally had to sit there and like really concentrate and
Right.
say, okay, was this in my family?
Uh-huh.
Was diabetes there? Was, heart problems
That's
and all
right.
of that? And it's interesting because it is, as you get older, you start becoming more and more aware
Yes.
of things. But I think it's important what you just talked
Yes.
about family history.
Yes.
You really do need to sit down and have those conversations, as rough as it may be, or you may not want to have those conversations, but it's important. And I think, Rachel, hopefully this is answering your question. Sit down, have discussions with
right.
your family. Go through, because when she talked about how it's a stigma,
That's
or
right,
how
it is.
it's almost a shame type thing. So maybe her grandmother felt shame. Maybe her uncle felt shame. Maybe her dad felt shame. I don't know. But if it's talked about in the open, and you say, okay, this is what we have here in our family. We've have individuals that have dealt with this, whether they survived or
Yes.
not. This is reality. This is what's in our family. So there's no need for any of us in here to feel shame. Let's just go get ourselves checked out, do what we're
Right.
supposed
That's
to
right.
do, and move forward. Now that may all sound simple enough,
Right.
and maybe easier said than
Yeah,
done,
it is.
but it has to be done.
And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Right.
I'm telling you that.
You're
And then and one thing we need to, I feel too, another thing too, I know you not want to tell everybody, and I think you need to talk about this too. If we got a spiritual family and a family, you need to tell folks what's wrong because they need to know what to pray for. Now, sometimes it's just my personal opinion, sometimes I don't think we might not get our healing because we don't come out and say it. You see, I heard Elder Harris, Richard's husband, was praying for my husband the other day in the hospital. He said, you got to speak to the illness. You just can't say, heal me. You got to say, I want those cells to heal in this breast. You got to speak to that illness. And I heard the pastor talk about the other day, dry bones. And dry bones in the valley, dry bone. You got to speak to that situation. And you bring life to that situation. I don't care if it's breast cancer. You got to call the breast cancer out. You got to call the cells out. You got to call everything out individually and say, I want you to come and revive that and heal that situation. We have to sometimes say things. God wants us to say that. We don't say anything sometimes. It might be a problem because God maybe want to show his miracle through you. And you won't tell anybody.
Right.
So that to me, I have to say it. And I did say it. And I think now I can get up and talk about it through the state and talk about it everywhere because God uses us for his glory. You got to speak it.
Good.
Yes, we live in an infallible world. So you have to tell them that you're subject to whatever goes on in this world.
That's
because
right.
of the world you live in.
That's
because
right.
of sin. So you are susceptible to that. So it could happen. So you got to talk about it. It's not anything you've done.
That's
It's just
right.
where you are, from the day we were born, we're dying.
That's right.
So anything that's in that world that would cause you to have death, it could happen to you. So that's the first thing you got to know. So you don't have to feel, well, he got cancer, something must be wrong with me. So that's what you're going to have to get across to your family and say, I don't know, but it seemed like in our genes or in our whatever,
That's
we
right.
have this,
That's right.
we have that, so we need to deal with it. I know a couple of my nephews, when they got a certain age, I send them cards because some things that's in our family. I said, you at this age now.
That's
It
right.
was a birthday card, but I wrote down there, you need to go have this chat because you know it's in the family.
Definitely in our family.
So, right, we got several things that's in
High
our
blood
family.
pressure, colon cancer,
cancer,
and all these kinds of things that's going on.
Diabetes,
Diabetes.
you know, I had a couple of aunties and things that had real bad, but they lived a long time with the diabetes, and but they went blind. You know, my grandpa, he was 90-some years old, but he lost his sight. All that stuff is in the family, so you need to know that. Knowledge, let's go back to that word, knowledge is so important.
And
You need to know.
and talk about it in the family.
Right.
And we have a
Know
family
things,
get
don't
together.
guess
Yeah.
things or somebody said.
Yeah.
Know things. Know what's,
That's
that
right.
knowledge is power. So
And,
you-
since it's in your family, I would advise you, as quick as you can, go and talk to them and say, these things are happening to our family. We don't want anybody to go any more secrets. We want to know, we want to help you. Because I know me, if I find anybody, I'm going to try to help you. This is the family you can help, and you really want to depend on your family. So you really need to try to teach them, we are the people that are going to stand with you. Like I said, when everything is going to, your family's going to be with you. I don't care what, your family's going to stick with you. And you try to let them know it's very important, urgent, that we take a look at this.
Yes, definitely. I agree. This is good. This is really good. And like I said, hopefully this will help individuals on today. Now, I know that with you both being educators, I'm sure you have a platform of how to get this message out and how to help individuals. Is there anything that you are doing now? I know you're doing conferences and
Yes.
or going to speak at different places,
Yes.
maybe on this subject or
Mhm.
something that relates to it. Can you kind of share with our listeners what you have been doing?
Yes, I tend to go to various churches every year. They call me because I tend to go and talk about the health issues of our people, and I love to do it and be glad to help anybody out there. And I don't charge anything for that. I go every year and I talk about checkups and things like that, and also trying to get to the marathon and run for the cancer, breast cancer. I try to do that when I can. And I support with money and whatever I can do to find a cure for this breast cancer thing going on. But also I try to be an example. I try to look good. So I've gone through this, and because you have gone through, you don't have to look any kind of way. I try to be an example. I'm very happy. I'm very outgoing, and I'm just so thankful for what God has done. So these are things I have been doing, and I've many of the churches I've gone through. I leave incentives like money, that how many going to lose weight. I had them losing up to 30, 40, and 50 pounds and come back to me and stop me all through the state where I'm working in. And he said, oh, because of you. One lady said, I lost 30 pounds and I'm still doing it because of you. We've got to get out there to help. Keep the weight out, eat well, keep the stress off of it. Learn how to take care of your body. Learn how to love you. You can't love anybody if you don't love yourself first. You love your neighbor as yourself, so you gotta love yourself. How not to be stressed out, how not to take all kind of garbage in your life, and how just love life. And I think these are things I have been doing, and I'm just so glad that I'm able to do all these things and look forward to possibly do more and work hard, like Robbie said, more knowledge and more research that I can go out and really help as much as I can.
Yes, I try to let people know that cancer is not a death sentence.
Yes.
It's the first thing. And try to work through it. Whatever you have, learn how to work through things. Don't just look at something and say, that's the end result. Work through, you'd be surprised sometimes how much knowledge, how much you learn if you just kind of work through it. What's the first step? What's the second step? What you need to do? Don't look at it as, this is the end. Work through it, ask God for His help to help you to work through these things. If you have, to me, that's what I try to do. And as I said, my husband has been through, and he goes around and gives seminars and different things, especially to the men. We know with the black men, it's the prostate. That's really something. And that some things he's experienced, it seems like they don't want to talk about it. They pretend, oh, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. But when he tells them, go have yourself checked, because he's the person, he's at the health club, just like as much as she is. I'm there 3 or 4 times a week. He's there 3, 4, 5 times a week. And when he got it, and he told some of the folks when he was working that he had prostate cancer, they said, not you. They couldn't believe it because they think, oh, you run them 2 or 3 miles a day or whatever. But he let them know it could happen to anybody.
Anyone, that's right.
And you just have knowledge about it. Don't be afraid to. I know it's scary, but try to work through it. See what you can do. Ask the Lord to help you find the right people. And I mean, you can tell about so many miracles that the Lord have helped him with during the struggle and things that he's had. Sending the right doctors. This insurance running out. I mean, it's just really something. But those kind of things he go around trying to help people with. And those are the kind of things that I'm new at this. As I said, this all happened this June. So, but I try to let people know that I think will listen, that, it could happen. You live in this world, it could happen to you. You do everything you can do. You ask God to help you, and you learn as much as you can.
And do this mammogram, like I say, and I'm afraid all the time. I'm afraid to go every year. I said, but you know what? I've got to do it. So it's one thing. Don't do not go because you're afraid. I am too. Every second year. I keep saying, Lord, help me. And every time one lady said, good luck, I said, God bless me. When I walked in this year, and when they said to me, oh, you okay this year? I just said, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. So praise the Lord, because I'm just so grateful. Go out there and do it.
Just do it. As they said, don't be afraid to have those checkups. You just do it.
That's right.
Because I don't think anybody likes to go to the doctor.
Right.
Nobody likes to, but God has given these people knowledge and the research and things that's going on now.
That's right.
It's just, you'd be surprised how much research they've done with cancer in the last 15 years.
And Mother Adam, one statement in the last statement, Mother Adam say, many times as Christians, we always say, oh, I'm not going to the doctor, I'm just going to pray and have faith. She says it's not about that. You just afraid to go and won't go. Just tell the truth. Because if you really was concerned, it wasn't everyone not so you should go, she said, so you know what to pray for.
Right.
She said, just don't say that. She said, many of us to suppress a radio station, please don't say that. Just say, I'm going to go, I'm going to be afraid, but I'm going to go, and God did not give me a spirit of fear, and just try to get over it.
Right. Just go and get it taken care of.
Yes.
It's not, and especially when you go to OBGYN, it's not, that's not the most comfortable doctor to go to. If you're a woman, you understand what I'm saying. But when you go and you get it done, I feel relieved when I go get it done, because I'm like, okay, I'm doing something.
Yes.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
And the doctor, I have a good doctor, and he, will sit there and talk to you and take his time, and that helps you feel comfortable as well. But it's just so important. We just can't stress that enough. Just to, go do what you're supposed to do. Get your checkups. There is, I believe they changed the when you go to get your mammograms.
Yeah,
do you have that?
I had that information.
Because I believe there was a big controversy in terms of the age when you should go and
Yes,
get
I
your
think they
mammograms.
made it a little later.
Yeah.
Right, a little later,
Right.
but that's something. And
Yeah,
I think
me too.
it's going to depend upon your family
Family
history
history, right.
and what you may be facing or dealing with your own self personally.
Exactly.
Because say for instance, if you're a woman and you're doing your self breast examinations, and you feel something, but you're not at that age that they're telling you. What is it, 40 now?
I think it's 45 now.
45 now?
It's 40 when we
And
start.
say you are 40 years old, but you feel something. You're like, oh well, they say I don't have to get an exam until I'm 45. No, go. Just please go. Go get it checked out. It may not be none. God, forbid it to be something. Oh, okay. Lady Rochelle said 45 now. Thank you.
Yeah,
And I know
45.
that it was a big controversy when they started changing all of that. Now I believe Lady Rochelle mentioned about how when she was diagnosed, or she actually found her lump herself, and please confirm to me what age you were, Lady Rochelle. I believe it was maybe a few years ago, but it was underneath the age,
right,
yes, that they said that you should get your mammogram. Okay, Dr. Crossley is giving me something here to read. Let's see. The American Cancer Society recommends women should begin having yearly mammograms by age 45. And this is something, and can change to having mammograms every other year beginning at 55. Women should have the choice to start screening with yearly mammograms as early as 40 if they want to.
Yeah.
So they still kind of say that as well. But yes, Rachel, the age did change. She said she didn't know the age changed.
Yes.
But it has. But you can't just take that for granted. If I were you, I mean, whether you are finding something yourself or not, I would probably stay with that other age. Because it's going to be crucial. Later, Rochelle says here, use the 10-year rule. If a family member had cancer, you should be checking 10 years before.
That's right.
Yes.
That's good. That's good advice right there. And don't be afraid. Of course, we believe in God that everything's working
That's
out
right.
okay. But I would rather know than not know. It's a horrible frame of mind to be in
That's
when you
right.
don't know.
Don't know.
You're sitting there, you're suspecting, you're thinking, well, maybe. I would always think that, okay, when you're going to get yourself checked out, you're going to your doctor's appointments and everything, the one thing that you can almost kind of control, if I can use that word lightly, is when you are doing your self-breast exams.
That's right.
So you can kind of control
Sure,
that, and
that's
it
right.
can alert you early
That's
enough.
what it did me.
Now there may be some fear. Now you're like, now don't get yourself all scared and everything. Just go get it checked. Go get yourself checked out. Do your regular exams, and I believe also, some individuals sometimes they're a little they're hindered because maybe they don't have the money or the insurance. But I know that there are some places where you can go and get free mammograms, free pap smears.
That's right.
I'm not sure, Lady Rochelle, maybe you
I
can
know,
put that on there for
Ingalls,
us.
Hospital, I think it's every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday?
At Ingalls Hospital.
Ingalls
but you go
Hospital?
free. Yeah.
Okay,
They can
that's
check
in
and
Harvey.
make sure in Harvey. Yeah, I think it's every Wednesday, but they can check the days. One day a week that you can walk in there.
Okay. And I'm
without an
sure,
appointment.
But with
And they'll let you
with the
free.
Obamacare and all, they can't get this taken care of.
well, it still depends upon whether people are
Yeah.
taking the initiative to even get the Obamacare as well. So you have to be careful of all that stuff.
But there are some, you can check around, that's why I said knowledge is so important. I think most of the hospital they have one day that you can walk in. And I think Ingalls is Wednesday, but they can double check that.
Okay. So then what you can do, whether you live on the south side, west side, east side,
Right, find
north
out
side,
where.
find out. Look it up. The internet can be your friend. Look it up.
And get that right.
And that I believe it'll be very, very helpful to you. Labor Shaw also says Metropolitan Chicago Task Force offers free mammograms.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, okay, we have come to the end of another session. I am glad that we have had this discussion. There's been a lot of information put out onto the table, and we are going to be held accountable for it. So we need to take it in, apply it to ourselves, and you all can go back and review this on YouTube, and also I will post it on my page. But I thank you all so much for listening on today, for tuning in, for giving your input. Yolanda Bateman, she tuned in also from Reed's Temple. Yolanda Bateman.
Okay.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Those that I didn't get a chance to call, I appreciate you. And make sure you tune in next week. We'll have another breast cancer survivor that will discuss also this Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And it's crucial. It's information you need to know. Thank you again so much. I appreciate you. Love you all with the love of Jesus. And make sure you get caught up with Annette. Oh, this is good. It did. It really did. People are still jumping in and hopping in. Hey guys, thank you all so much. I appreciate all of you. Oh, Lady Rochelle, thanks for putting that website up, chicagobreastcancer.org. I'm sure that'll probably give you locations where you can go, I'm sure. Yolanda Bateman, thanks for tuning in. Rachel, thank you again. Gail Alexander, she puts her maiden name in there as well. She was also listening today. And Vanessa Gail Dyson was on as well. Thanks for listening, sweetie. Okay, Keith Moraney was on as well. I hope I get everybody today.
You got so many.
Yes. I thank you all so much for your participation on today and for listening. Hopefully this helped you on today. That's our aim. Our aim is to bring things to light and then to see what we can do about it. Yes, knowledge is power. Okay, great. Thank you all so much. I love you. Make sure you tune in next week for Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette and get caught up with Annette.